Heat big man, the Hammer. He was on the Bald Face Truth podcast, which is hosted by George Canzano. He's a columnist at the Oregonian. And he was saying that Miami will be at the top of his free agent list in the offseason. He said, quote, "I'm in a good place here in Miami. I feel as though I helped Jimmy Butler and Bam in a lot of ways. Space the floor, give them the opportunity to attack the guy."
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please. Which one did you watch? Did you watch the one where he gave him the stanky leg or knock the dude dead?
Knock the dude dead. Dude. What the?
Master of kicks. No, you think you can block that?
He put his heel right on his eyeball.
Yep.
It's like,
and you're like, oh, I should have seen it coming.
He's looking right at it. That's look. Perhaps,
this is what I mean. You don't respect the kick.
I do respect. I over respect the kick is what I'm saying. That's what you think. You think I don't respect the kick. No. I'm saying after watching these guys kick each other in the side to face, right? If I'm in the ring, I'm like, ooh, I'm looking at this guy right here. I don't want what happened to him to happen to me. I'm going to watch out for the kick.
I remember that Kevin Lee knockout where he gave him the stanky leg. I mean, there were so many funny memes that came out of that.
Hold on, let me see the stanky leg.
Oh, it's amazing. It's the...
That was close.
I know. It was borderline, Robbie.
What?
You almost had a history of effing football moment watching
Hey,
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, could you imagine your brain just going down and say, uh-oh, big kick to the head, legs shut down. Oh, my goodness.
So Meyers Leonard said, he says, "I really feel like I helped Jimmy Butler and Bam in a lot of ways. Space the floor, give them opportunities to attack the driving lanes, get out in transition. I don't mind the taking the physical demand. I don't mind boxing out every single time. If the ball comes to me, fine. If I get it, that's great. And that's what I want. I don't think that I play a very specific role. I know that Miami loves my role and what I bring to the table. I'm very good at communicating. I study scouting reports very, very hard in very much detail. I know what the guards want. I know what the bigs want. I care about winning. I don't care about shots. I don't care about rebounds. I don't care about block shots. I don't care about any of that. I care about winning, period. I'm okay at setting screens, getting our guards open. I'm okay at spacing the floor and not being the guy that has to take all the shots. I don't care. I care about winning."
That sounds like veterans minimum right there. All right.
Hey, man, don't do that.
Hey. Tobin, let me ask you a question. And look, you take it from me. The game, you have your superstars on your team. But a lot of times it's the grunt work that happens before those superstars do their thing.
Sure.
Right? Meyers Leonard is one of those guys, but he has the ability to get hot from three every now and then, and to be a presence in the paint.
Right.
Now he doesn't care about the numbers, which killed his previous center. But he does all the things that the Heat love to do from a big man.
Yep.
He loves all that stuff. I would say this, that I will almost guarantee that Pat Riley loves the fact that he can space the floor when needed.
Yes.
It's
good. It is good to start the game with that threat with Jimmy and Bam on the floor.
Right.
And putting him out there. Even though you're going to be starting with Duncan and Kendrick, who are good shooting threats themselves, it's good to have – you don't have Meyers just clogging up the paint, and that's the only place he can score.
Now, I will say this. As Bam's game gets farther and farther away from the basket, right, Meyers Leonard, believe it or not, will become more important as far as stretching that floor, because that means you can isolate any individual on the court. So if you take Meyers Leonard, put him on the line, and then anybody on the court at that time could isolate.
I just think that, to your point though about what they would pay him, one, he's a center, which sucks in this day and age. It's like being a running back in the NFL. Like, no one's looking to pay a big guy. Now he does have the ability to shoot, which helps. It's not like he's just a guy who will go out there and he'll clog at the paint. He's as good a chemistry guy as it gets, but I don't know what I don't think the Heat are going to get into that fashion of overpaying for guys just for chemistry again. They kind of just did that with the whole James Johnson thing, and still got rid of him in 2 years. So I think there is a question with Meyers.
He played a role. He played a role in that.
He did. But even still, I think the Heat somewhat invested in believing in their culture and chemistry and cohesiveness. But ultimately, Riley's like, what am I doing? I go with talent. And I don't know, even if they love all the stuff Meyers brings, I think if Riley didn't have his eyes on this 2021 free agent prize, maybe they'd be more willing to bend. But I think, like, if we're looking at the guys who are free agents next year, Meyers Leonard, Jay Crowder, Goran Dragic, Derek Jones Jr., I do feel like the guys who have been here longer and Goran and DJJ are going to be the priorities more so than Jay Crowder and more so than Meyers Leonard are.
Right. We'll see, but I think the most important thing, forget all the pieces. I think the most important thing in the in this team's progression is going to be Bam and how far from the basket he will be able to play. Because as a big that can handle the ball, that puts him, ahead of a lot of bigs. Mm-hmm. But if he gets that mid-range and then maybe out to the three, now you almost have an unstoppable force. He becomes more of an unstoppable force than Jimmy Butler only because of who will be guarding him.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I also think that I don't think you can expect that leap to happen in just a year. I think we need to start.
No.
I think we're starting to see steps of it expanding like to that 15-foot range, and the numbers have actually been pretty darn good on it as the years. He doesn't take it a ton, but I think I do think that if you look at where the Heat, if they're looking after this year, this is going to be a very hard thing to look out because we don't know what the playoffs look like. We don't know what the salary cap looks like. We don't know any of this stuff. So, will it be a time where NBA players are willing to take short-term deals because they want to kind of reset and see what the landscape is going to look like? Or if they get offered some kind of guaranteed money, like let's say somebody does come in and offer Meyers, $8 million a year, $10 million a year is as a big, is he going to say, see you?
Right.
Because I don't think that's I think the Heat love him as a character guy. His character is flawless with all that stuff, and people love him as a locker room guy. He's as accessible as a player gets on social media. But ultimately, Pat Riley cares about talent, and are you blocking his ability to go and get superstars? And so he loves he's getting back to loving the word here is the flexibility. He loves having the flexibility. Right.
I would also say this is that I'm not looking for that leap. Like, you have to understand, most basketball players, what is it, 26, 27 is when they hit their prime?
Yes.
And Bam's what, 23?
22.
22. So, although he started a little bit earlier and he was young, I'm not saying he's got to do it next year. That's why I said as his game gets farther and farther away from the basket, that's going to have more of an impact on what the Heat need to do to complement him or complement, all the Butler or complement the guys that they choose to keep. And at some point, I do believe you're going to need one more stud defensively, right? And that's what I guess that's why they signed Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala in hopes that if at any point during the game, which by the way, don't sleep on Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder's been great.
Right.
Jay Crowder's been great.
He has that same kind of mentality as Jimmy Butler.
I think if you honestly told Heat fans, if you were to line them both up, who would you be more okay with and I know it's a lot of money, but I think if you just based on their early stints, if you told the Heat fan you have to pay Andre Iguodala $15 million next year or Jay Crowder $15 million next year.
Jay Crowder.
I think they'd be more okay with paying Jay Crowder because
Jay Crowder's a lot younger, isn't he?
He's
like
younger.
30?
He's younger. Him and Jimmy Butler.
Better?
Him and Jimmy Butler were teammates.
Better?
And look, I like Andre Iguodala as far as the guy's got a great career. So I don't want to disrespect. He's been on the Heat for 3 seconds, but it looks like a guy who hasn't played basketball in forever. Now again, he is not playing basketball in forever. And how much was he really into the idea if he wanted to compete for championship with the Heat, or did he want to go to a team who can guarantee me another $15 million? And so I don't know. I think with Jay Crowder, I think he plays like a Heat player. And if you were to tell me that you could switch out who you're committing money to next year, Jay Crowder or Andre Iguodala, I would have picked Jay Crowder just based on what I've watched so far.
Yeah, but keep in mind that money came before you saw any of that.
Sure. No. 100%.
And I would say that I mean I've always been a fan of Jay Crowder, and I think Andre is probably at the end of his career. So
sure.
So he's closer to sitting next to UD than he is to being
Don't
in that
have to go
early
that way,
rotation.
man. You didn't have to. Like, you could have just. I know it's your birthday.
-1.
No. I didn't say anything about UD.
You did, actually. The words UD came out of your mouth.
All right, fine.